welcome back to the garage. If this is your first time visiting my channel, please go ahead, click on subscribe, and also click on that bell to receive all the updates and activities on the channel. All right, so we are continuing to work on the C3. This is a 1976 C3. And what we're doing today is I am replacing the standard shock and spring in the front. So we're going with QA1 single adjustable coilovers. And those are the 550 springs. So, truth be told, I actually replaced the shocks last summer, and I did all the control arm bushings and the sway bar bushings and everything else. And I never liked the ride height. I thought it was sat too high in the front. I just got done doing all the work on the rear, replacing all the shock mounts, the double adjustable strut rods, and the shocks. The back is running Bilstein heavy duties, and we're going to put QA1s in the front. So why don't we go ahead and start taking this thing apart, and I'll show you what you need to do. Go ahead, jack up the car, make sure it's properly supported. Go ahead, take off the wheel, set that to the side. First thing we're going to do is we're going to remove the existing shock, and we're going to remove the top mount, and that bolt or nut is a 9/16. So we're going to go ahead and remove that first. All right, so that nut has been removed. What we're going to do now is we're going to go underneath the car and we remove the 2 1/2-inch bolts that are holding the bottom portion of the shock and pull it out of the control arm. There's the 2 1/2-inch bolts that are holding the shock into the lower portion of the control arm. All right, shock came right out. So what we're going to do now is we're going to move the end links for the sway bar, and these are not OEM. They were replaced last year, so they're 14 millimeter. Typically they should be a 1/2 inch, but the replaced ones were metric. But anyway, figure out what size you need and go ahead and take them out. But for these, they're 14 millimeter. All right, so what we've done is we separated the top ball joint. We just removed the nut, tapped it, and we lowered the control arm, and the oil spring is out. So we have the control arm supported by the jack, just to make sure we're not putting any stress on that rubber brake hose. So now what we have to do is we have to prepare the control arm for the mounting hardware. All right, so in preparation for the installation of the shocks, QA1 uses a 3/8 bolt, and I measured the bolts just to make sure they were 3/8, and they are. And what I'm gonna do to make this easier, I'm just gonna use a step drill. So, using a step drill is a little bit easier because, especially with those nuts, chances are they're going to be hardened because they're welded, and sometimes you'll run into some challenges just using a regular drill, but with a step drill, it should go through it pretty quickly. All right, so we got the 2 holes drilled out. Bolt goes through in there pretty easily with no slop. So the next thing you have to do after you drill out the holes, right, with the for 3/8, you actually have to remove the captive nuts on both sides. And the reason why I left the nuts in while I drilled, just so there was a little bit more material to come through the arm to make sure that the drill was straight. And but once you drill it, you have to get those nuts off, and there they are right there. And so what I used this little Milwaukee 3-inch cutoff wheel, which really helped out a lot. And then I just took a cold chisel and knocked them out. All right, now it's time to assemble the shock. So we got the spring upside down. That's the bottom of the spring. And in the kit, you have a thrust washer, you have the spring perch collar, and then you have the locking collar. So it's gonna go in that order: bearing, perch, locking collar. So first thing we gotta do is apply some anti-seize to these threads per instructions of QA1, because it's aluminum on aluminum. We want to make sure that the threads don't bind and they don't gall up. And we're also going to apply some anti-seize to the bottom of the spring face and the thrust washer. All right, so we have the assembly installed. Went pretty easy. Honestly, it went a lot easier than taking the old spring out, just because the height of this spring is obviously it's shorter because it's different technology based on what was originally installed. So no need for a spring compressor or anything like that. So we got the it installed. Studs go up. Nut is on the bottom of the shock, so you don't have bolts dragging on the underneath of the trailing arm. We have the sway bar end links installed. Just need to go ahead and install a cotter pin on the top ball joint. And then right now I have a single nut on the shock tower. Once there's weight on the car, the shock will compress into the bushing, and I'll be able to get the lock nut on there. So, all right, so why don't we go ahead and do the other side? But just for reference, as far as the height, I have it set to around 7/8 of an inch, and the clicker is in position number 6. All right, so I figure that's a good starting line or a good starting point, and then we'll go from there and see how it goes. But yeah, it's pretty much everything is easily to get at if you need to make adjustments. There'll be plenty of room to get a tool in there, a spanner wrench to crank up on it if we need to. All right, let's go hop on the other side. All right, so at this point, everything's back together. Car's off the jack stands on its own weight, and have about a 2-inch gap in the front and about a 2-inch gap in the rear. Haven't had an opportunity to take it out and do a road test yet because I got my snowmobile trailer behind it, and it's right now kind of trapped in the garage. So in about a week or two, that trailer will be going back for summer storage, and then we'll be able to get it out of here. So, but all in all, I think it was a pretty easy installation in comparison to the stock springs and shock setups. Because I'll be honest with you, if you've never done that before, it is a challenge to do. And the reason why is you have to use an internal spring compressor inside the spring to pull it up. And then once you have everything seated, now you have the task of getting the spring compressor out of the spring, which is a pain, to put it bluntly. If I knew then what I knew now, when I was doing this last year, I'd have spent the extra money, and I would just bought the coilovers then and saved about a day of stress and time and everything else trying to get those springs back in. Because doing the coilovers, honestly, I think it took me about 2 hours, and that included jacking everything up, getting it up on stands. Granted, at that point, everything had already been taken apart before, so I had that going for me. But even taking everything apart, I would still recommend doing it. So they are a little bit extra money, but once you're gaining and the time spent that you're saving, it's well worth it. And besides, the way I look at it, if you're doing the work yourself, you're not paying somebody else to do it, go ahead and buy the best parts that you can, because the money that you're saving on labor, you can then go ahead and reinvest in parts. So yeah, at this point, I'm very happy with it. Eventually, we're going to be doing sometime this summer. I'm actually going to be replacing the stock 15s on there. I want to go with a little bit bigger setup, either go with a 17 or 18, and that will actually reduce the wheel gap as well. But yeah, I can't wait to get this thing on the road. It's April 18th or 19th, and we're actually they're actually predicting another nor'easter coming up here for Tuesday and Wednesday with another 3 or 4 inches of snow. So just when I think the roads are safe to take this thing out, as far as all salt and sand, they're basically just going to get coated again. So which is going to delay getting this thing out here until the roads have a opportunity to get washed down with rain and everything. So, all right, if there's any questions, comments, thoughts, concerns, go ahead and leave them in the comments box. I'll get back to you as soon as I can. And as always, thanks for watching and have a great day. See ya.